Happiness is one of those words we often chase as if it's hiding somewhere far away at the end of a promotion, inside the approval of others, or in some future milestone that will finally make everything fall into place. But let me share a truth with you. Happiness is not a destination you arrive at. It is not a prize you win after struggle. Nor is it a gift someone else can hand to you. Happiness is a decision. A conscious, deliberate choice you make every single day, often in the smallest, quietest of ways. The human mind is wired to search for meaning. And in that search, it often gets distracted by illusions. We tell ourselves, I will be happy when I lose weight, when I get that job, when I find the right partner, when the world finally treats me the way I think I deserve. But every time you reach one of those milestones, the mind immediately shifts the goalpost further. And suddenly you realize happiness keeps running ahead of you like a mirage in the desert, always visible, never reachable. Why? Because you've placed it outside of yourself. If we really think about it, happiness is less about conditions and more about perception. Two people can go through the exact same experience. One feels broken, while the other feels grateful for the lesson. The difference is not in the event, but in the choice of perspective. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust, once said that everything can be taken from a human being except the last of the human freedoms, the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That freedom is where happiness begins. Choosing happiness does not mean denying your pain. It does not mean smiling through suffering or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging life exactly as it is, with its imperfections, and still deciding that your emotional state will not be dictated by circumstances you cannot control. It is an act of self-responsibility. In fact, it is one of the most powerful forms of freedom we have. The ability to decide what kind of inner world we want to live in, regardless of the chaos outside. Think about it. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can focus on the problems, the struggles, the disappointments of yesterday. Or you can choose to anchor yourself in something as simple as gratitude for being alive, for having one more day to try again, for having another chance to love, to create, to grow. This choice may feel small, but over time it reshapes the entire lens through which you experience life. The brain begins to rewire itself based on repeated choices. If you consistently choose to look for the good, to practice gratitude, to focus on possibility instead of limitation, you slowly train your mind to generate happiness, not wait for it. And here's the most liberating part. No one can make that choice for you. People can inspire you, circumstances can push you, but ultimately you are the one who decides how you meet your own life. Happiness is not about waiting for the perfect day, it's about creating one in the midst of imperfection. So, as you leave here today, remember this happiness is not out there somewhere, waiting for you to arrive. It is right here, waiting for you to choose it. Every morning, every moment, you are standing at the crossroads of your own emotions. One path leads to complaint, to comparison, to postponing joy. The other leads to presence, gratitude, and a deliberate decision to embrace life as it is. The question is simple, yet life-changing. When tomorrow comes, which path will you choose? If happiness is a daily choice, then gratitude is the lens that makes that choice clearer. Gratitude has the extraordinary power to shift our entire perception of life. It is not simply about saying thank you when something good happens. It is about training your mind to notice the beauty and value in what is already present. Because here is the truth. We are not unhappy because we lack happiness. We are often unhappy because we overlook it. The human mind has a natural bias toward focusing on what is missing. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. We remember the criticism more than the compliment, the failure more than the success, the pain more than the joy. This wiring helped our ancestors survive in dangerous environments, but in today's world, it often makes us blind to the blessings we live with every day. Gratitude is the antidote to this bias. It interrupts the endless cycle of dissatisfaction by redirecting our attention to what is working, what is meaningful, and what is already abundant in our lives. Think about how differently life feels when you focus on gratitude. The same meal that felt ordinary suddenly becomes a reminder that you are not hungry tonight. The same walk in the park becomes a meditation on fresh air, on the gift of mobility, on the miracle of being alive. Gratitude transforms the mundane into the miraculous, not because the world outside changed, but because your eyes did. Philosophers have echoed this wisdom for centuries. The Stoics taught that we should not desire to have more, but learn to desire what we already have. Modern psychology confirms it. Studies consistently show that people who practice daily gratitude report higher levels of happiness, resilience, and even physical health. The simple act of writing down 3 things you are thankful for at the end of each day literally rewires your brain to scan for positivity instead of lack. Gratitude is not naive optimism. It is disciplined perception. Now, some might argue, how can I be grateful when I am in pain, when my life is full of challenges? That is exactly when gratitude becomes most powerful. Gratitude is not about denying hardship. It is about balancing the narrative. Yes, you may be going through a storm, but even in that storm there are anchors, people who support you, lessons you are learning, strength you are discovering within yourself. Gratitude does not erase difficulty, but it prevents difficulty from erasing your joy. Let me remind you, every moment you choose gratitude, you reclaim a piece of your happiness. When you wake up and thank life for another day, when you thank your body for carrying you through, when you thank the failures for teaching you resilience, you are actively building an inner reservoir of joy that no external circumstance can easily drain. That is what it means to push yourself to be happy every day, not by denying reality, but by expanding your awareness of its gifts. So ask yourself tonight, what did you overlook today that was actually worth celebrating? Was it the fact that you had clean water to drink, that someone smiled at you, that despite the noise of the world, you still had one quiet moment to breathe? Gratitude teaches us that happiness is not found in extraordinary things, but in the ordinary things we learn to see extraordinarily. And perhaps the most profound realization is this: gratitude turns what we have into enough. When you start living from that place, happiness stops being fragile, it becomes unshakable. So tomorrow when you open your eyes, don't ask, what's missing? Instead, whisper to yourself, what's already here? Because the more you count your blessings, the less life feels like it's counting against you. One of the greatest obstacles to happiness is comparison. It creeps in quietly, often without us realizing, and before long it has stolen the joy from our own lives. We scroll through social media, we look at friends, colleagues, neighbors, and without even meaning to, we begin measuring ourselves against them. Their success becomes a reminder of our delay, their smile a reminder of our struggles, their progress a reflection of our lack. And slowly happiness slips through our fingers, not because life has suddenly become worse, but because comparison has blinded us to the beauty of our own journey. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it thrives on one illusion that life is a race and everyone is running on the same track. But that is not true. Each one of us is living a completely unique story. We were born with different circumstances, different challenges, different timelines, different lessons to learn. How then can you possibly compare your chapter 2 with someone else's chapter 10? How can you measure the worth of your journey with a ruler that was never meant for you? The irony is that the very people we compare ourselves to are often comparing themselves to others as well. It's an endless chain of dissatisfaction, a cycle where nobody wins because everybody is busy chasing someone else's shadow. And the saddest part is this: in the pursuit of living like others, we forget how to live like ourselves. Psychology shows us that comparison is one of the strongest triggers of unhappiness. Social comparison theory explains that when we measure our worth by looking outward, we almost always end up feeling inadequate. Why? Because we tend to notice people who appear ahead of us, rarely those who may be struggling in silence. It creates a distorted picture of reality. You see someone's highlight reel and compare it to your behind the scenes. And in doing so, you strip yourself of the joy of your own progress. Philosophically, comparison robs you of presence. When you're busy looking at someone else's life, you are not truly inhabiting your own. You overlook the quiet victories, waking up today, showing up despite the struggle, growing at your own pace, because you are too busy wishing for a life that was never yours to begin with. So, what is the alternative? Instead of comparing, start celebrating. Celebrate your small wins, your unique journey, your growth, even if it is slow. Celebrate the success of others without making it a mirror for your shortcomings. Happiness expands when it is shared. When you clap for someone else, genuinely, you are telling yourself that success is possible, that life is abundant, that your time will come too. And remember, joy is not a scarce resource. Someone else's light does not dim yours. Someone else's progress does not mean you are failing. In fact, the moment you stop competing with others and start competing with who you were yesterday, happiness finds its way back to you. Because now the measure is not perfection, but progress. So, I want you to reflect for a moment. How many times have you lost peace because you were too busy looking sideways instead of looking inward? How many times have you convinced yourself that you are behind when in reality you are exactly where you are meant to be? The truth is, life is not a race to be won. It is a journey to be lived, and the only person worth comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. So, the next time you feel tempted to measure your life against someone else's, pause and remind yourself, I am not here to be like them. I am here to be fully, unapologetically me. Because the day you stop comparing is the day you start truly living. If we want to live happier lives, it is not enough to simply think differently. We must also live differently. Happiness is not only a state of mind, it is also the result of the habits we practice every single day. The truth is, our lives are shaped far less by the extraordinary moments and far more by the small, ordinary choices we repeat until they become second nature. Habits are powerful because they build the framework of our days, and in turn, the framework of our emotions. Think about it. If you begin each morning scrolling through negativity online or replaying yesterday's regrets in your head, how do you expect happiness to flow naturally into your day? On the other hand, if you begin with something as simple as a deep breath, a moment of gratitude, a short walk, or a smile, even if it feels small, that one decision sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Happiness, then, is not something we stumble upon accidentally. It is something we build deliberately through practices that nurture our body, our mind, and our spirit. Psychology supports this truth. Studies show that consistent practices like journaling, meditation, or regular exercise directly improve mood and increase overall well-being. Why? Because they shift the brain's chemistry. They release hormones of joy and calm. They quiet the endless chatter of worry. They give structure to the chaos of life. Philosophers, too, have always emphasized discipline as a pathway to freedom. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, wrote daily reflections not because he had free time, but because he knew that his mind, like any garden, needed tending. And happiness, like any garden, needs daily care. But here is where many of us go wrong. We wait for motivation. We tell ourselves we will start when we feel ready, when life is calmer, when we have more energy. But waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to move your ship while you refuse to raise the sails. It is not motivation that creates habits, it is habits that create motivation. Once you repeat an action long enough, the brain rewires itself to crave it. The difficult becomes natural, and the natural becomes joyful. So ask yourself, what small habits are you cultivating that either bring you closer to happiness or further away from it? Are you feeding your mind with negativity or inspiration? Are you caring for your body or neglecting it? Are you creating space for silence, reflection, and connection, or are you drowning in constant distraction? Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming, and if you want to become someone who is genuinely happy, you must cast those votes wisely. The beauty of habits is that they do not require grand gestures. You do not need to overhaul your life overnight. Happiness grows from the smallest seeds. A kind word, a few minutes of stillness, a daily practice of writing one thing you are grateful for, a conscious effort to move your body, a decision to smile even when the day feels heavy. These choices, repeated daily, accumulate into strength. And when life becomes difficult, these habits act as anchors holding you steady in the storm. So never underestimate the power of the ordinary. The extraordinary is built on it. A joyful life is simply the sum of joyful habits practiced with consistency and patience. And here's the question you must reflect on. If your habits are building your future, are they building a future filled with happiness or one filled with regret? Because in the end, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. Happiness may begin within us, but it is also deeply influenced by the people we surround ourselves with. Human beings are social creatures. Our emotions, our energy, even our beliefs are contagious. We mirror the moods and behaviors of those closest to us, often without even realizing it. If you spend your time with people who complain, who criticize, who constantly see life through the lens of scarcity and negativity, it will be almost impossible for you to sustain joy. But if you choose to share your life with people who uplift, who inspire, who remind you of possibility when you forget it yourself, happiness begins to multiply. Psychologists call this emotional contagion, the tendency for emotions to spread within social groups. If one person begins to laugh, soon the whole room is laughing. If one person is tense and bitter, that energy too spreads quickly. In other words, happiness is not only a personal responsibility, it is also a collective responsibility. The people around you can either be the wind beneath your wings or the weight on your shoulders. Philosophically, this is why so many traditions emphasize community. We are not meant to live in isolation. We are meant to grow, to share, to learn through others. But the quality of that community matters. Not everyone who smiles at you is good for your soul. Not everyone who walks beside you deserves a seat in your inner circle. Protecting your happiness sometimes means making difficult choices about who you allow into your space. And yes, that can feel harsh, especially if it means creating distance from people you care about. But ask yourself, what is the cost of constantly being drained, criticized, or belittled? At some point, you must decide that your peace is too valuable to be negotiated. Now, I am not saying surround yourself only with people who agree with you or who never challenge you. True friends, true mentors, true companions will sometimes challenge you precisely because they want you to grow. But there is a difference between challenge and criticism, between correction and constant negativity. One helps you rise, the other slowly erodes your spirit. This is why choosing your circle is one of the most powerful happiness habits you can practice. Think of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Without judgment, ask yourself, do they lift me up or pull me down? Do they remind me of my worth or do they constantly make me question it? Do they inspire me to be better, or do they drain me until I have nothing left to give? The answers to these questions will reveal more about your happiness than you may realize. But here is another truth. While it is important to receive positive energy from others, it is equally important to give it. You cannot demand light from others if you are unwilling to shine yourself. Be the friend who uplifts, the colleague who encourages, the family member who listens. Happiness grows when it is shared. When you bring joy into someone else's life, you are not depleting yourself, you are multiplying it. At the end of the day, happiness is both an inner discipline and a shared experience. We need each other. We rise together, we stumble together, we heal together. The people around you are either your mirrors or your shadows, and your choice of who to keep close will shape the quality of your days. So I want to leave you with this: guard your circle, but also contribute to it. Choose people who remind you of the light and commit to being that reminder for them too. Because happiness, like love, is one of the few things that grows the more you give it away. We often think of happiness as something that should come naturally, as if it were effortless. But the truth is, happiness, like any meaningful part of life, requires effort. It requires discipline, resilience, and the courage to choose light even when the darkness feels overwhelming. To push yourself to be happy every day does not mean pretending life is easy. It means deciding that even when life is hard, you will not surrender your spirit to despair. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is often a choice. Every one of us has faced moments where joy seemed impossible: loss, rejection, failure, betrayal. And in those moments, the temptation is strong to believe that happiness is out of reach, that it belongs only to people whose lives are simpler, luckier, or easier than ours. But history, philosophy, and psychology all remind us of one thing: resilience is not born from a life without struggle. It is born from facing struggle and still choosing to rise. Pushing yourself to be happy every day means showing up for yourself, even when the world feels heavy. It means moving forward, even if the steps are small. It means creating habits that anchor you, choosing gratitude when negativity feels louder, refusing to measure your worth against others, and surrounding yourself with people who remind you of your strength. None of these choices are always easy, but they are possible. And with time, they build an inner foundation so strong that no storm can completely shake it. Psychologists talk about learned optimism, the idea that we can train our minds to focus on possibility instead of limitation. This does not happen overnight. It requires daily practice, the same way an athlete trains muscles or a musician trains hands. And yet the payoff is immeasurable. Because when happiness becomes your discipline, not just your desire, life transforms. You stop waiting for perfect days. You begin creating better ones, even in imperfection. Philosophically, this is also the essence of freedom. To choose your attitude, regardless of circumstances, is to reclaim power over your own life. The world may not always be kind. People may disappoint you. Plans may collapse. But happiness is not about the absence of difficulty. It is about the presence of determination, and that is something you control. Of course, there will be days when happiness feels far away. There will be mornings when you wake up heavy, when gratitude feels forced, when comparison sneaks back in, when habits slip, when even the people around you cannot lift your spirit. On those days, remember this: happiness is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You do not have to feel joyful every second. You simply have to keep choosing not to give up on joy. That persistence is itself a form of happiness, a quiet strength, a whisper of hope that says, even this will pass, and I will still be here. So the real challenge is not whether you can be happy when everything is going right. The real challenge is whether you can push yourself to be happy when life is complicated, uncertain, and imperfect. Because it is in those moments that happiness becomes not just an emotion but a form of courage. And that courage is what will carry you forward, not just for today, but for every tomorrow. So I leave you with this one truth. Happiness is not found, it is forged. And every day, you hold the tools in your hands. The question is, will you choose to use them